Hi, I'm Doug Strouse, and I'm managing partner of Wexley Consulting, an international business and consulting firm. Wexley Consulting is an international consulting firm, and I've had the pleasure of work with Ken Wexley now for, probably 15, 16 years. He's really one of the top organizational psychologists. He's the author of 11 books. We've written over 110 professional articles together, and we really focus on, a couple core areas. One of the things we do a lot of is executive coaching for executives, where we'll meet with an executive two-on-one, both of us together, meeting with an executive. We'll meet every 2 to 3 weeks for an hour and a half and talk about various things. When we start doing executive coaching with an executive, we'll put them through a process, a testing process, where we'll uncover all the executive strengths, as well as what we call opportunities for improvement or weaknesses. And we'll actually develop a syllabus for that individual, because we have training modules that'll help turn those weaknesses, if you will, into positives and successes. But we also do, things like strategic planning. We also do one of the most important things, I think, is performance management. So many times in business, you'll see that people are not held accountable. And I've often find, the research talks about this, and you often find that it's not that people don't want to be excellent. Excellence is not defined for them. And so we'll put into place a performance management system that holds people accountable for the things that they, have to do, what their expectations are in an organization. We work with a lot of companies. We do a lot of psychological testing, at the entry level, up to the supervisor, to the managerial level, all the way up to the executive level. So if and everybody, I don't care who you are, if you run a company, I can guarantee you've made a hiring mistake at some time in your career. I have, and I can tell you a lot of people have. But if you can not make a hiring mistake, because it can cost you anywhere from 3 to 5 times the person's annual salary. So we do a lot of testing for employment for companies. When you want to fill a position, you want to make sure you hire only the very, very best. Another thing that we do is what we call an organizational analysis. We have access to probably about 600 or 700 different tests, and especially at the executive level, or managerial or executive level, we'll have the hiring manager come up with a list of competencies that is needed for that particular job. And we select tests that measure the specific competencies. So we really have, it's almost like getting a custom suit, if you will. So we select tests that measure those competencies, and we'll give you a report on that individual of how they rate against those competencies. Interviews by themselves, you're about 60 to 65% effective. Get involved with psychological testing, we're about 90 to 95% effective. We can't be 100%, because there may be health issues that come around, there may be family issues that we don't know about that we can't test for, but we're pretty darn close. If you make a hiring mistake, folks, we can't emphasize it's going to cost you, and it can cost you big time. Everybody has bad days, but you got to be cognizant of the fact when you're running a law firm or you're running any other organization, you set the temperature, you set the culture in that organization. And it's so interesting because, a lot of people are baseball fans too. And when you see somebody like Buck Showalter, you say, well, how was he able to turn a team around after losing 14 years in a row? And what he did was really a magnificent job, I think, was turning the culture around, getting people to believe in themselves, getting people to understand that they can win again, because that becomes part of the culture, part of the expectation. And it's the same thing in business. It's believing that you can provide the greatest service. It's believing that you only hire the very best. It's believing that you are the best law firm or you're the best organization and you're going to do whatever you can. So it's understanding that you set the tone. That's the key thing. People need to know what the expectations are. And if they know what those expectations are, they can run towards them. It's a similar thing like in school. To get an A, you got to do this, this, and this. And I'm just amazed, because when we go, again, we work with a lot of organizations, and when I give talks, and I give talks around the country, and one of the things I'll talk about is whether you're running a law firm or whether you're running a business or whether you're running, a small mom and pop type of organization, You know, business is business is business. The small mom and pop is no different than General Motors. General Motors only has many more people and huge numbers of layers of management. That's a differential. The same business principles apply. So, again, whether it's a law firm or any other type of business that you're running, get your people on the same keel and get them to understand what the expectations are, and they will buy into it.